It's been 5 years since I moved to Sydney. And I always say this, if Delhi has my heart, then Sydney has my soul. Like, this is where I built myself up, my life up, and became independent. I feel so emotionally connected to this city, and I think I have lived here long enough to tell you all about living in Sydney. So in this video, let's jump to the point. We are going to talk about the pros and cons of living in Sydney and whether this is the place for you to move or whether you should move here. I will leave that decision up to you, but we are going to talk about the good and the bads of Sydney. Watch till the end because I have some super useful tips about moving to Sydney and about living in Sydney. So let's jump to the video. And let's start with the pros. The first and foremost thing when you come into Sydney and you're walking around in the city, going for hikes and stuff, you'll notice people are really nice. I remember the first day when I was coming into the city from the airport. I had booked airport transfer from my university and they were picking me up and dropping me to my accommodation. And that was the first day when I had an interaction with a local. There were about 10 people in the little minibus this couple had brought to pick up and drop the students off. And I was the first one to get dropped off. And guess what? No one could find my accommodation. No one knew where it was. It was like we were at the address, but we couldn't see anything. It was all lawns and stuff. And they were so nice. They gave me their phone. They asked me to call up the student services and find where that place is. And they told me to sit in the bus. And then they dropped off everyone. Still couldn't find my accommodation. At the end, I decided I'll get off and I'll try a search around by walking. They gave me their number and told me that if I cannot find accommodation within the next hour, give them a call, they'll pick me up and they'll find where I'm supposed to go. And that was like such a nice gesture. First thing, you land in a new country and there are people out there to help you. And that is the kind of people you'll find in Sydney. They are so nice and so helpful. You're going on hikes, there will be someone or the other saying a cheerful hello, how are you, good morning. And that's what I love about this place. Second really amazing thing about Sydney and almost all of Australia is the amazing weather. Sydney's weather is amazing. It's just the perfect blend of heat and cold, autumn and spring. May to August is winter. We have got different opposite seasons here. So May to August is winter. September to November is spring. December to February is summers, and then March and April is autumn. It's amazing during autumn. You have to come to Sydney during autumn and spring. That's like the perfect weather to see this city. Not too hot, not too cold. Number 3. Sydney is a very safe city. I have never felt unsafe at any point of time of my life here. When I came to Sydney almost 6-7 months, I was living in student accommodation and we used to go out partying at late night and come back at early in the morning, 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. in the morning. And I used to take public transport, walk from the bus stop to my accommodation, and I have never felt unsafe at any moment of time. It is such a safe place. The public transport is safe. The roads at night are safe. There's like connectivity throughout the night, and it's just one of the safest places for women. That's all I can say. And the police is very responsive as well. If you just feel unsafe at any moment of time, dial 000 and they will be there. They are very nice and very helpful. And I think you cannot be safer at any other place than in Sydney. I can't tell you how privileged I feel being and feeling so safe. Number 4, wages. As you would know, Australia is one of the highest paying country. The wages that you get, even as a casual worker working an odd job at McDonald's or retail, you get paid pretty much as same as someone with a full-time job working same hours. I was on student visa here and I was entitled to working only 40 hours per fortnight, and I used to work at a store called Witchery on a casual basis, which is a retail store, and I was getting paid $26 an hour on weekdays and on Saturdays the wage was $29 an hour, and on Sundays you get paid $39 an hour, which is amazing. I mean, where could you get so much money at just a retail job where you are a sales assistant? I love doing that. The people were really nice and the pay was amazing. So yes, wages are pretty high here. And apart from just the casual jobs, the full-time jobs also start from about $60,000 per year plus super. So that's like the area you are looking at, between 50 and 60 at an entry-level job, which is pretty amazing, don't you think? Another thing that Australia really pays attention to and Sydney pays attention to is the work-life balance. Usually offices finish up at 5 and that means people are gone at 5. There's hardly any overtime happening. It happens, but no one asks me to work overtime. No one tells me that I have to work overtime just to finish up something. If it's not done today, it can be done tomorrow. They just need the work done howsoever want to do it. So I think that's a really bonus for me, because I mean, having time for myself, my YouTube and everything else really makes a big difference in life. On Fridays as well, Fridays are basically people don't work. When our offices were open, we used to have like a Friday 4 p.m. bureau clock, which means at 4 p.m. you get up from your desk, you have to go to the boardroom, grab a drink and enjoy it with your colleagues. So that's the kind of work environment people have set here. 4 p.m. is like half a day off, chill out, go to the bars, go for happy hours. That's what they encourage. And also my company offers 17% higher pay on taking annual leaves. So they actually encourage you to take annual leaves, which I think is really amazing, because the right work and life balance is important for you, for your mental health, for your physical health, and Australia really gives importance to that. Work-life balance, it should be right here. Let's come down to the cons. What are the bad sides? What's the ugly? Are you ready? Because I am. I have a list of cons of living in Sydney, I'm telling you that, and it's just a big list, but I have shortened it down to 5, which I think everyone should know before coming here and deciding on whether they should move or not. Okay, as remember I told you my first or second point, I think, that the weather is really amazing in Sydney. Well, it is amazing, but it comes with a limitation, a drawback, that the sun is very harsh. The ozone layer has depleted over Australia, so that means the UVA and UVB rays come directly to you, and the sunlight that gets absorbed in your skin can actually cause skin cancer. So you have to apply really highly graded sunscreens if you're going out in the sun in Australia. And similarly in Sydney, I actually went to the snowy mountains this year in January and I forgot to apply sunscreen. You don't feel the heat, but the sun is so harsh that it burnt my skin. Number 2. One thing I really hate about Sydney is that shopping centers close by 6 on weekdays, even on weekends, you know. Like, can you imagine? Everything closes at 6. So from Monday to Wednesday and Friday, Saturday, Sunday, most shopping centers close by 6. There are like hardly any stores open. On Thursday, it's open till 9, but that's the only day when it is open extended hours. So if you're here, you want to shop something after work, darling, forget it. It's not happening. You have to only take out time on a Thursday or on a Saturday and Sunday to go for that shopping hunt. So yeah, everything closes by 6. Restaurants on weekdays close by 8:30ish, around that time. Like, a lot of places just close at 5 even. So that's a big drawback of living in Sydney, that you don't really have anything to do after 6 on weekdays. So just go home, chill out, have a beer, watch a movie, and that's that. Number 3, public transportation. Public transportation is not a con actually. It's very well connected, and they're like buses, trains connected throughout Sydney. You will get a lot of options for public transport. I have never driven a car, and I think the first 2 years in Sydney I always took public transport, so trust me, it is a lifesaver. but the drawback is it's expensive. So you are going to end up spending at least $12 if you're traveling in the trains or the bus throughout the day to long distances, and it's just $12 a day multiplied by 5 days if you're traveling, which is about $60 a week, and then into 4 you're ending up spending $240 a week just on traveling, and that too on public transport. So yes, it is an expensive ordeal. Sundays it's discounted rates. Ferries are expensive. Ferries are, I think, $8 one way. So yeah, that's the thing over here. Public transport is pretty expensive. Fourth con is probably one of the most talked about disadvantage of living in Sydney, which is the higher cost of living. Sydney is probably one of the most expensive cities to live in the world. There was a survey conducted by the Worldwide Cost of Living Index in 2021, and Sydney came on number 14 at the world's most expensive cities in 2021. Cost of living is high. You will end up spending at least $2,000 living in Sydney for an individual. Rents are high, groceries are high, shopping is high. So Sydney is all in all a very expensive city to live in, but I feel that it gets compensated by the higher wages. So the higher you earn, the higher you spend. I think it gets balanced out, but yes, it is expensive. And last but not the least, living in Sydney comes with lots of crowd. People are moving here to study, to work, as permanent residents, to do temporary work, working holiday visas. So Sydney has become really crowded. From 2017 to 2022, I have seen the traffic increase drastically. Like, I'm stuck in traffic a lot over here. There's like a lot of people everywhere. I just can see it. It is becoming very crowded. There are like multi-story houses building up in my suburbs, so it's become more dense, and people are moving from different states to Sydney, and it's getting crowded. You can't really help it, and with crowd comes traffic, obviously. So if you're driving early in the morning in peak hour, you have to spend a lot of time just crawling through the long road of traffic jam, and you can't help it because you have to get to work. The joys of living in 2022. Okay, so time for the tip that I promised that I will give at the end. When you're moving to Sydney, just compare different cities, different cost of living, because Sydney is expensive, but at the same time Melbourne is another metropolitan city and it is not as expensive as Sydney. The wages are same. You will get the same kind of people, the same kind of living standards, and I think you should compare different cities and see which you find better. And Australia is promoting people to go and live in regional areas. So I think if you are planning to move to Australia, regional areas are a great option to consider. I do know that if you want to live permanently and you have lived in regional areas before, you do get some extra advantage and some extra points in your permanent residency application, which I did not know, and this change happened when I was here. This is a different story to tell altogether. But if you have moved to a regional area like Greater Adelaide area, or if you have moved to Adelaide or Perth or some place in Queensland, you are at better advantage of getting a permanent residency than you are in Sydney. All in all, Sydney is an amazing city to live at. I have had one of the best experiences. The diversity, the culture, the multicultural environment, the kind of people you meet, the geographical location, the beaches, the mountains, everything. It's just the right blend and the right place to be at in your 20s, and I think I made the right decision to move here and I love it here. And that was all for today, guys. I will leave the decision of whether you should move to Sydney or not on you. And if you do decide to move or even not move, just let me know in the comments below. And if you have any other questions about Sydney, let me know. I will be happy to answer them, and I might even make another video about it. If you haven't followed me on Instagram yet, do follow me there. I post a lot of stuff over there as well. And I will see you next time with another video.